Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Decorum Moving Out. This is an expansion, two-player only expansion for Decorum. But before we talk about it, we just want to remind you to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see all our videos as they come out. Okay, this game is designed by Charlie Mackin, Harry Mackin, and Drew Tannenbaum, and is published by Floodgate Games.
All right, so recently we talked about Decorum, the base game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to that video down below in the description, so that way if you want to know our thoughts on the base game and a little bit about how to play, you can check that out and get our thoughts. But today we're not talking about the base game. We're talking about the newest, hottest stuff, and that is Decorum Movin' Out. So the base game played 2 to 4 players, but the main
I've got Deal's Gone Bad moving on back in my head.
Oh, that's such a great song.
Man. Okay.
This is where your band. All right, so anyways, Movin' Out is a 2-player only expansion. So even though the base game played 2 to 4, this is only 2-player. So what's happening is now, first you moved in, everything's all happy, you're moving in, you're decorating together, everything's great. But now you've kind of filled up the house. It's time to move on to a bigger, better, farther away, cuter, whatever the heck is. You move to a different house, but you got to move out first. So in this game, what's going to happen is, or in this version of the game, instead of having a huge variety of components to work with and kind of swapping out things and decorating, and now what you're trying to do is you're taking with components that are in the house and trying how to figure out how to efficiently pack them up into your various vehicles, leaving behind some items, painting the walls the color that you think that the next person who moves in might like, and you're getting that out of there with your vehicles. So that's what Moving Out is all about. It's 2-player only, like I mentioned. It adds in vehicles. The vehicles are going to be different sized. When you get your campaign, you're going to get a setup card for the house, but you're also going to get a setup card for the vehicles, of which vehicles you're going to use that turn. And then, of course, as always, each player is going to get a card that gives them parameters of what they need to fulfill that mission. I want the lamps to go in this car, but I don't want any red lamps. And I want to leave all the colors yellow on the walls, or whatever the case is. So everyone has their own parameters of what that might be. You do not have a supply of items to draw from. You're just simply leaving some items behind, moving around what's in what rooms, and filling up the cars. The only thing you can really change, truly modify and change, is the paint on the walls.
Okay, so there is like a ton of iconography in this game. You wouldn't think it, but once you got everything moved out, you have the items have their own like icons. You have the type of item, the vehicles, whether it wants to be in the house, what side of the house. There's just a lot of iconography going on. I say that to say when you get your card of how you want to move, you just really want to study it for a little bit. You don't want to go on it. That happened to me where I was like mixing things up, and I thought I couldn't get something because I was reading it wrong when Ryan had his parameters met, and so I just...
It literally conflicted because of the misinterpretation.
Yes, because it was me. I read it wrong. It wasn't the game's fault. It was me. I did that. So I would just highly encourage you to really look at everything and really look at where you need things before you start moving around. So it might be slower to start than you originally thought it would be in a game that really the rule set is very clear and straightforward, but just really study your card before you start moving things around.
So when I am teaching the base game of Decorum, I describe it as a logic puzzle. Think of it as something like Sudoku, right? Where you are trying to get everything in its right part to try to interact with other things on the board. Maybe you can only have yellow next to red, or maybe you have to have all green walls, or you're trying to interact with the parts themselves and swapping things out so that the whole thing together works. And in that way, it feels a lot like a Sudoku or a logic puzzle, one of those kinds of logic puzzles. The Moving Out expansion, to me, it's still a logic puzzle. You're still using that part of your brain, but instead now, this one feels like more like, because you're using all the same components and just trying to figure out how to arrange them, it feels more like one of those puzzles that you have that has a sliding bits to it. You have like a hole somewhere and you're trying to figure out how to slide things just right.
Or so even like
that makes a picture.
A Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, exactly. A Rubik's Cube is a great way to describe that. You have all the pieces there. Just how can you arrange it in the right way to solve the picture?
Like sometimes you have to put things in the wrong place in order to put things in the right place.
Exactly. Yeah. The only thing besides that is the paint. But like besides that, a Rubik's Cube is a fantastic example of this kind of logic puzzle, how this logic puzzle works. So they feel different because of that. They feel like two different kinds of logic puzzles, even though they're using the same kind of your brain.
Yeah.
A very unique way of playing the same game with different a different viewpoint.
Yes, yeah, that's a good way to put it. The components in this game, it seems like a tiny box, but you actually get a ton in there because of all the vehicles. You get all these vehicles, but then also you get boxes because some of the items need to go in boxes. You also get bubble wrap because some of the items need to go in the bubble wrap, and it's adorable. It's super cute. Like Ryan was just like before we were even playing the game, and it was like a toy, just like putting things in the bubble wrap that the game had. But it was really fun. It was evocative of the theme, and it was cute. I liked all the components that you got. I liked all the things that came with it, and it made sense with having these different items and having these certain parameters. Because when you are moving, you have limited supplies. You do want certain things in certain things, and other things you don't really care about. So, like, I totally get that.
If you liked the base game of Decorum, I think you're going to like this too for a couple of reasons. First of all, it uses that same part of your brain. It still encourages you to use logic puzzle to solve things out, but with a huge twist, a huge twist in the way that your brain has to think in the kinds of puzzle that you're solving, which for me makes this one of the most unique expansions I think that we own.
Yeah.
Where you use the same stuff, and you're doing the same kind of thing,
but it's different.
Thinking about it very differently. And so for that reason, yeah, it's a very unique expansion. I liked it a lot because, again, I'm prone to liking logic puzzles. That's a thing I like. This gave me the kind of thing that tickles my brain just the right way.
So for those of you who watched our original review, and if you got to the end, you're wondering, did Bethany like the expansion? Did this endear Bethany to the game? And the answer is absolutely not. Are you kidding me? It's not only is it a logic puzzle, but it's like a more difficult logic puzzle. I'm trying to work things out. I'm so frustrated. I feel like an idiot. And then sometimes I would just get frustrated with one of the rounds that we were on, and I was like, I'm not even going to get to 30. I'm calling it right now. And so I put the card down, and Ryan would look at all of our stuff, and he'd be like, boop, boop, boop. There. We did it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, my brain just does not work this way. It can't do it. I heard it's bad to say can't, so maybe like it's a mindset issue.
I have a hard time doing this.
I have a hard time doing it. That's what we teach our girls to say. So I have a hard time doing this. Not that I can't, it's that I have a hard time doing it. And so it's definitely not for me. With that said, if you liked the first one, I can almost guarantee that you are going to thoroughly enjoy this expansion. If you liked Decorum and you wanted more of that, and you want, like, it's almost like more challenging. And if you wanted that, I can't see you not enjoying this. That double negative I just did. Oh my gosh.
I got you. I followed with you.
Yeah. But
it was like a puzzle of its own logic puzzle trying to figure out what you were trying to say.
Yeah. So even though it 100% was not for me or the way that I like to play games, if you like this, you like this.
And like Bethany mentioned, this is a campaign, so you can't do a mission once you've started it, and even if you fail, you don't get a chance to replay it. So I highly recommend, if you failed the mission, just flip it over and have fun playing around with it. That's like a fun way to solve it after the fact.
Yeah. And Ryan can do it. And
is it possible?
Ryan can do it in like 30 seconds. He can figure it out. Yeah, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see your videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye. You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.